the mental performance, whether it's on sports or in business. It's exactly that. In the end, it's just like the body performing. The better you train your body, the better you can perform on your mental.
Yeah, the whole
level.
mind-body
Exactly.
duality.
Yeah.
Welcome to IDUN Technologies. In our next podcast, I'm joined today by Marc Gisin, our new brand ambassador for professional sport and ski. In these times of COVID, we are, of course, practicing social distancing and protecting ourselves and everyone else in the office. But since we are properly spaced from one another, we will do that without the masks. So, I'm an application engineer by IDUN Technologies, where we develop brain-computer interface technologies, including electrodes and hardware, and specifically putting EEG into the ear to create everyday brain-computer interface devices. And Marc, we are very happy to have you join us at IDUN Technologies. And I'd really like to hear more about your background coming into this role.
Yeah, I mean, where to start? I just retired from ski racing last week, so that was a big step for me. But I got in contact with IDUN a while ago, and for me, it's a very interesting startup, very interesting company, looking ahead into the future, also of professional sports, because like the whole mental aspect of it is a big part, and so it's going to be interesting to work with you guys, for sure.
So you've I've heard some of these stories before about athletes who have been like really intensely focused on their sport, which you have to be growing up, starting from your childhood, your dreams, moving into the professional sport area, and then whether you're an Olympian or in the NBA, all of a sudden things kind of come to an end, and then some people say, okay, what now? And it'd be interesting to know what your feeling is sort of transitioning from this very focused sport life to what we really believe you can do for us at IDUN.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a transitional phase for sure now, and it's not just a job that you end and go to the next one. It's like kind of a life that comes to an end in a way. And as you said, like I was first on skis when I was 1.5 years old with my dad, and then started ski racing when I was 7. And so it continued, and like around the age of 14, 15, you kind of get the idea of, maybe it's going to be a path and it's going to be a future in this sport for me. But then the next thing is, especially in ski racing, there's a lot of injuries involved. And you're not really sure how long it's going to last. And in a optimal kind of way, you last until maybe, I don't know, end of your 30s. Then you retire or some stop with it earlier. It really depends how you feel, how your injury history looks like. And especially in downhill and Super G, in the speed disciplines, there's a lot of injuries involved, and unfortunately I had a couple of them, and so I was pretty much forced now to end my career at 32 years old. But I still experienced a lot of cool years and a lot of interesting years, and had my successful moments for sure. But there was a lot of ups and downs in my career for sure,
And that journey where, you're going from a place of being almost on the edge. You're really on the edge, like when you're doing a Super G, I would imagine. And now, what were some of the things you were learning from this experience of being at this like very high level in sport? And like, what were some takeaways that you can think about for how we're developing products in the future for professional athletes?
Yeah, I mean, you have to deal with a lot of stress factors on the highest level of ski racing, especially when you're involved in downhill and Super G, because there's also, almost the risk and the chance of dying. That's the not so funny truth behind it. But of course, you do everything you can to prevent such a horrible accident or whatever. But there's a lot of potential risk involved, and you have to learn how to deal with that. Also with the pressure from yourself, but also from the public, of course, and the pressure of performing at the right time, and in between, I mean, 2 minutes, like on the highest level. So there's a lot of stress factors that come into play, and especially in this case or in that area, I could learn a lot from that whole experience for the last 10, 11 years on the World Cup stage. Yeah.
And how do you understand your body, like, through technology when you're at this very high level?
I mean, now when it comes to IDUN, it would be really interesting if we could measure, like, also the mental aspect of this sport and kind of the mental stress you're exposed to during a race or a training, and maybe could learn from it, and then maybe adjust your training and your I don't know, your way how to approach a race or a training or whatever. As like, that could be a very interesting part to learn from that whole ski racing experience. And IDUN is on the forefront of the whole sensor business, and from this point, it's a very interesting match for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this quantifying this whole journey, I would say, from like the preparation phase to the sport phase, where you have to be in the zone and super focused, and then afterwards in the reflection phase, I imagine, where you have to, maybe you're watching video of yourself, you have to understand, I guess, how you, like, small changes in your body during performance would then affect the future.
Yeah. I mean, especially this flow state. I mean, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of theories behind it, but from my experience, it's just like the right amount of, I don't know how to say this in English, but the right amount of stress, kind of, but also relaxation. Like, you have to be in the middle of being concentrated and like super focused, I would say. But not too much. It's like you have to be relaxed also in
you have to be like squeezed in the right way to perform correctly.
And that's the best state to perform on the highest level and on your best. So I always try to you visualize the race, like maybe half an hour before it starts, and then you warm yourself up, you go free skiing, you make some runs, but then right before the start, I always try to like calm myself down and just be like focused on the moment, and in the moment to just give my body and like all the automatical movements I practice over so many years and so many weeks prior to just let them free in a way and just to perform. Okay. Because in the end, this is the body that performs, and that has to like take over in the race. So you can't really, you have to like give up the control in a way.
Yeah. So the preparation phase, I mean, is that more important than how you, I mean, this is essentially defining how you perform during the race, like how well you prepare before that. Because on TV, we just see people going down at super high, crazy, dangerous speeds, but we never see the like, I mean, it's a whole year of preparation to get up to that point where you can then put your poles down and then like go down this super high hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that. In the end, it's just like the body performing, and you have to shut down the brain in a way and just let the body do its thing, kind of, because that's the reason you train all year, and that's the reason you do so many runs prior to the race. So the muscles and muscle memory, the body knows exactly what to do. When there's a jump, when there's a left turn, a right turn, certain conditions, it just happens automatically. And a big and important factor is to just come into the right state of mind just before you go out of the start gate. And so, if you could measure that in a way, that would be really interesting. And that's why, IDUN technologies could be a game changer also in the world of sports. And because just the mental game and the whole mental part of it, or mental side of it, is such a big part. And that could be very interesting.
And how, what type of impact do you want to have then on the professional sport industry? If you can help to bring these technologies, you know how to talk to the athletes, you actually understand their mindset, because as engineers, when we go to talk to people, for me personally, I would barely understand the experience you go through. If I go down and I go ski touring, it's actually enough to get down a hill without crashing and possibly hurting myself. I can do it on piste. Off piste, it's horrible. I don't have any muscle memory for skiing off piste, which I have to develop.
Yeah, but in a way, it's the same. Maybe not on the same level, but it goes into the same direction. And as I said, it would be just, for a start, it would be very interesting to be able to measure what's going on in your brain during a downhill race or a downhill training.
Yeah.
And to just see, okay, now he's completely focused, or now he's relaxed prior to the start, or whatever. And in a first step, I think you could learn a lot from those measurements. And we measure a lot of data when it comes to endurance, or strength, and the whole physical side of it.
Yeah.
Or we do blood tests, and we can gain a lot of information from those tests. But when it comes to the brain and the whole mental aspect, it's not really developed yet. And so that would be my goal, and I think the goal also of IDUN to get a little bit more of knowledge when it comes to the mental part of it, not only in sports, but performing on a high level in a company as well. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, this concept of challenges and stress. We all go through different journeys in life, whether we're stressed professionally in the boardroom, or as athletes, or just in society. I think many times even though the physical challenges are sometimes different, the mental load, I think, is very similar.
Yeah, but in the end, it goes in the same direction, because whether you have to perform on the highest level of a sport, or in ski racing, or you have to perform at the top of a business as a CEO, or as a leader in a company, it's you need to perform in a different way. Of course, in sports is more physical, and in a company is more mental and psychological. But the tool to perform is the body, and the better you train your body, the better you can perform on your mental
the whole mind-body duality.
Yeah, exactly. So that goes hand in hand, and that's also a really interesting part of it to experience also, or get some knowledge for me.
Mm-hmm. And are there focus tests that you currently do, or ways that you train your focus professionally, that you think would be interesting to quantify or translate to other domains?
So far, not really. The last 2 years, I would say, a lot of athletes do a lot of training when it comes to the visual side of it, athletics, just focusing on one point, moving your head, and training trainings like this. But of course, there's also mental training for a lot of years. But it's still not really measurable and not really you can't really grasp it. So it's hard to say what it helps, what not. It's hard to really understand it for sure.
I mean, so I think from our perspective, it's really interesting, and we're hoping I think it's going to be amazing to have you as a brand ambassador, because we were looking for ways to create bridges between technology and people, and also technology and just like talking to different communities. So we're really looking forward to the future of having you create these conversations between us and the rest of the world, especially the sports world.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it could be very interesting, and as a first step to just gain some data out of the mental performance, whether it's on sports or in business, because it's just a huge side of it, and nobody really knows a lot about the whole mental aspect. So that's kind of the goal now.
And also doing it in a way that's easy for people like you to use. Because, I mean, we can go to a lab, we can put on 128 or 256, I think up to 1,024 electrodes on your head, but you have to like shave your head first. But that's great when you're in a lab, but then you can't take that out of the lab ever. And that's one of the big challenges we want to overcome, and understanding the challenges like through the way that you move, through the physical way that you have to perform during those professional experiences, I think is also one of the most valuable things, because then we can understand like directly from your feedback if this works or this would be completely stupid and we shouldn't even go in this product direction. So I'm really looking forward to having conversations with you about the product development.
Yeah. No, for sure, and especially after I had a crash in 2015 in Kitzbühel, where I had a traumatic brain injury, also internal bleeding in my brain, and after that crash, I had to go through a lot of EEGs, and it was not the funniest experience, because as you said, the whole thing with doing the measurement is so complicated so far, and that would be a huge plus to do such measurements, especially an EEG, when you could gain those informations through a headset, like a in-ear kind of headset. And that will make it way easier and way more comfortable to give those data elements.
Cool. So again, Marc, we wholeheartedly welcome you to the IDUN family. We're really looking forward to working together with you, building bridges with other industries. And as one of the product developers, I can't wait to have more conversations and build a strategy with you. So
looking forward as well. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And tschüss zusammen, wir sehen uns nächstes Mal. We'll see you next time. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy.